hair is, oh boy. Oh well. I'm live. I'm having one of those like phases of hair, like hair growth, where it's just kind of awkward situation. I know there's people who know what I'm talking about. Yes, technically, this is really for mature adults. Now, some of you think you're adults at a certain age, and I got to tell you, I've met 50-year-olds who are still hanging around low level pettiness. So, fellas, I need somebody to grow up a little, please. I'm just asking nicely. I'm Dr. Mia Lueth. It is November 18th, 2025. It is 12:54 p.m. Eastern Time, New York, USA. It is a Winnipeg Jets game day. They're playing the Columbus Blue Jackets, and I think I am in really good company when I say I'm very, very glad that it's not a 10 p.m. game yet. Right. I know, I lose it. Well, this is the other thing. I heard someone else mention it um, on one of the internet radio thing. I just like, okay, well, you got it like further around until 10 p.m. So I listen to um, 680 CJOB, and they do a 2 hour pregame. So, but it's still, right, like pushes my schedule. So it's a little, I have to get up early. I have things that need to happen. So yeah, I this is I grew to be an early bird. Um, and there's some people who aren't early birds, but I'm an early bird. So yes, it's a game day, and the only thing I'm really gonna say about that is, well, I mean, I kind of like listen to the fans and look and see, how people are feeling. I was listening to Winnipeg Sports Talk yesterday, and I I kind of put in there that you know the Jonathan Taves naysayers are probably going to be very surprised, and so I got a response that says they don't think that people there are like naysaying, they're just reacting to what they see, which I get totally. I totally get that. One, he'd been playing with the Blackhawks for quite a while. Two, yes, he was out for 2 years. And there are some people in the National Hockey League, some players, but if they came back after 2 years, I would be dubious and skeptical about some things. Okay, but not when it comes to Taser. And I'm sure that he's being asked to play a different role. He's no longer a captain, and he's being asked by the Winnipeg Jets to play a different role than he did when he was with the Blackhawks. So we may not know what that looks like. We're kind of finding out, right? But I still say he's still kind of warming up. They're still gelling. And this is, the difficult part of an ice hockey season. They have the injured players are coming back. And, coaches have to decide who's going to go back down. So when we say go back down, we just mean like go back to the AHL. Some on waivers, and I don't want to get into waivers. It took me a couple seasons to actually like really understand waivers. Um, so there are guys who know that their time playing in the National Hockey League with the Jets this season was temporary, but it's good they got that kind of experience. It's good that they were looked at. It's good that they had a chance to see what it's really like and how they need to elevate their game and what they need to work on. So that's a positive. Like I said, I'm sure I'm gonna get a little annoying or a lot of annoying to some Winnipeg Jets fans, and it's because I am constantly aware, that uh, I don't know. I'm always trying to find the positive in everything that the team does, and particularly on ice. Okay. So, like I said, I was a fan of the team that's in Washington, D.C. for many, many, many years. And I also do my very best whenever I have opportunity and resources to check through the whole NHL, listen to all sorts of and kind of get a feel for things. And I know that that franchise and a few others, um, it's when they start losing games like two, then they hit three. I'm aware because I listen to player interviews because I'm paying attention, and um, that I mean it can really start to wear them, a little bit. They start to get a little more down. Some of them get a little hard on themselves, and that kind of can be counterproductive. So even when they lose, okay, I'm still probably gonna keep trying to mention some of the good things. Sometimes it's like a player hits a milestone. Sometimes it's like, yeah, I know, it's just, but they did really do a whole, full 2 periods of it. So, they do have to build, and it's good that this happened, and it's good that that happened. And especially if the team starts losing, 3 games and it starts because, like, I guess it's just my way of saying, well, I mean, I still love you. We still love you. Like, it happens. It happens with franchises that may or may not go to the playoffs. Okay, but it's common because like, I just know, like, I know you didn't lose on purpose, unlike a certain other franchise, which is unacceptable in every way. But it's kind of like, well, you know, learn from it and keep building slowly but surely. And, go you guys, you know? So at a certain point, can see where I might get a little annoying in that way because even when the team is losing, I try and maintain the positivity and look at the good things that are happening. And, if you listen, the one thing that I suggest, you may not have the kind of time that I do, and you might, but the one thing I always suggest, and I do kind of like push that, is at the very least, listen to the coach post game. So listen to Coach Arneal and whoever they get to do press, whichever guys are doing press post game. Okay. And you'll start to really understand is like they kind of know where things are kind of wonky and they kind of like, okay, well, we need to do this. And yeah, some of us were like this and so on and so forth. Um, you know, they recognize that they have to do certain things as a team. And yes, I mean, playing a full 60 minutes as a team is necessary. This is very true. Oh, crap. I hope this isn't check-in. 30 minutes. Okay. So I have 30 minutes. Yes, I get my notification for the Winnipeg Jets check-in here. I try. I try to be on check-in. Um, when they're at home at a certain time, and then they have kind of the idea of what the lines are going to look like. But yeah, I can get. I mean, I understand some people. Oh, I was just like, well, just because they're slower, a little slower. Okay, slower teams have beaten quicker teams for at least 15 freaking years in the National Hockey. Okay, the quicker teams don't always make it to the playoffs. The quicker teams don't always, you know, win their division. Sometimes the quicker team comes in last in their division. So putting too much importance on that, like as a fan, is like, well, it's possible to beat quicker teams, and we have a few who are very good at that. It's possible. It's not that's not something to be overly concerned about or stress over, because just year in and year out there are teams, definitely faster teams, right? Some don't even make the playoffs, right? So what I'm going to say about the Ducks, the Anaheim Ducks, I know California is like, everybody's like, just stay out of California, never go back to California, right? But there's something very obvious about the Ducks that I'm sure now the guys know a little better. They are deficient in one particular area. Okay, so, and I know the Avalanche, right? They're going to come back to earth, and some of the players who were pushing and pushing and pushing themselves so that they might get a spot either, for the Olympics or on a team, for finalized roster, and some of them are gonna find out December or so that they used up a lot of their energy. hmm Okay, so looking at the NHL as a whole, I can understand where people might be like, okay, well, one, all the Jets need to do, okay, is get into the playoffs. Okay, like I said, some of these teams are going to start dropping off. Some are going to start finding things the hard way and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's just true. And there are definitely ways to beat a faster team. Okay, so I'm not too worried about it. And people say they're the oldest in the National Hockey League. And what I'm going to say is, well, yeah, but they're due to know how to keep the younger ones calm and guide them and do things like that, and they're due to know about some of these franchises and some of these players and stuff, and they've had more time to kind of gel together and learn each other and understand kind of what their roles are, and of course injuries, and I understand, but the last 2 seasons there weren't as many changes, right? In certain ways, and they didn't have a situation where the captain was not on ice for the beginning and he had to start on a road trip, and so did Perfetti. These little things do factor, but the good news is that really long road trip is over. It's done. Like, that was the hardest part road trip. You understand? So they got a lot of home games coming up in a couple few months. All right. So, I'm more optimistic than maybe some. And I mean, I get what Winnipeg sports talk meant. They're just, what they see online. So I get it. I mean, I really do. But I'm just going to say, if there's anyone out there, when it comes to Jonathan Toews, like, well, first of all, he's self-motivated. Like, you don't have to push him. You're right. He wants to play at his best level all the time. So he just does that. All right. But he's also like Captain Crunch. Okay. When it comes crunch time, when something really, what I'm trying to say, he elevates a little. And sometimes he takes his whole line with him. You know what I'm saying? So I know that he's older. Okay. But there are players in the NHL that definitely I would not be as confident about coming back after 2 years. and he's not one of them. So, just keep that in mind. Uh, yeah, I know. People here's something I'll talk about Barron. There are a lot of people who would like Barron to, stay up, kind of, and I'm not sure how that's all going to shake out. But yeah, there's a few that probably will not, and they'll probably have a. If you want, I get the dumbest shit. Right. This here. I'm gonna just say that to the Winnipeggers and the Jets fans. I'm an ice hockey lover, and I spend a lot of time just looking around the whole NHL, and I kind of listen to other, and we're better off than quite a few teams in a variety of ways. And like I said, the Ducks may have been on fire with one part of their game, but they got a situation. Okay. Uh, yeah. So what I'm doing with right now, also Creasesinger Radio. The only thing I'm doing with Creasesinger Radio right now is I just put a link in here for Shine Down. Has new music out and a new video. I don't know. Okay, and it just released like on YouTube like less than an hour ago. It's called Searchlight, and I like it. It's like it's a beautiful song in a way, right? I mean, I usually resonate pretty well with Shine Down. I have since first album, so again, yeah. So I'm just cruising the radio. There's a link in the chat section now if you want to listen to the new Shine Down song. But as for Jets, like I can be annoyingly optimistic, okay, because they can't lose them all, and they're not like barreling down a steep cliff. There's things that they needed to work out this season that they didn't the last two. And so, what we're used to looking at, I know they have still this similar mindset about structure. It's just they're getting to that, and some of them are starting to wake up, and some of them are right. And it's just like I know, looking at all the things that are happening, especially with other teams, is like, well, they're kind of set up for success, and it may not look like it. Okay, and plus the Moose, Manitoba, yes, they're on sort of a tear. They're doing really well, but that's good because we can pull from them, and if there's two-way contracts, all that kind of stuff. I mean, some of these guys will come in handy. So, and of course, it's Connor. And Conley's had more time in, so you know what I'm saying. We're gonna see better 60-minute ice hockey. Some guys aren't the whole 200, okay, but some guys are 185, okay, because some guys they'll go in front of the other team's crease, but not all the way back, and it's the same on our end. So some guys are two-way, but they're like 185. They're not, but we got some that are 200. We have some that, given the opportunity, are rising to the occasion. So even if they're losing, and this is why I say this, fans, sort of, it's like, if you love ice hockey, you care about your ice hockey club, of course, we like to see them win, and we like to see them be successful. But if they're, hit a little bit of a losing skid, that's when we really should be more positive and more encouraging, and you know a little bit more supportive instead of the other way around, because they know, like, oh, okay, like, we're 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 not losing on purpose. We're doing these things, and we keep, right, you understand, like, try to remember that helps them a little. Okay, it really does, like, with mindset, and encourage them to keep going, and get through the grind, and get through, don't be too hard on yourselves, like, this stuff happens, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so don't cling to the playoffs right now, everybody. And also, the last two seasons are done and over, and this one's going to look a little different, and so just, we all are kind of experienced that. So I get what Winnipeg Sports Talk was saying. They're reacting what they're seeing on ice, and I get it, because there's times, sometimes I know a lot about the sport, and I'll be like, what the hell are they doing? Yeah, but it might be just because they're kind of like changing some roles, and like I said, guys could be playing injured. They want to win or hate to lose, whichever one. They may not be able to do that every game, and if they really start, if you get to a third game and they're losing, we should try to, like, keep reminding them, well, we still love you, and you guys can do this. You guys can get out. You guys can figure it out. Come on, I'm annoying that way. Okay, sometimes. That's when I get even more, like, positive vibes, and that's when I get even more on some chats, and they're like, okay, well, but here's some good things, okay, either individually or as a team or whatever that's happening, because you know it's like they can sense it. You know what I'm trying to say? So the more of us who try to stay positive when we're in a losing streak, I know, like, if some of you bet money on it, what's your own stupid fault? You know what I'm saying? Don't be boo-hooing online, okay? Because some of us don't care. Like, that's your problem, man. And if you really do have a problem, there's help for that. It's always okay to ask for help, by the way. I don't care what anybody says. So that's all I'm going to say about the Jets. And I'm just going to get, it's game day. I'm pretty confident that the, the core group we have, it's still the same Jets. It's just going to look a little bit different this season. Okay? So, try not to, like, hang on to the last two seasons. They're in this season, and some things just may not come across the same way. But it's still the same Jets and same kind of mentality. It's just all coming together. Right? So apologies ahead of time if I'm on some of the chats and I see. I mean, what, to me, it's not being delusional. It's just understanding that some of them are harder on themselves than anybody else could, and they want to win, and it does start to, wear on them a little bit, and it's just like, don't give up on them, and that's when you really need to start looking at the positives, and cheering them on and encouraging and things like that. Okay, it does make a little bit of a difference when the fans are. I mean, yeah, but it really does factor sometimes, especially home games. All right, so I'm being serious. Yeah, but I'm just saying ahead of time. I might get annoying because I'm constantly like trying to point out good stuff. Okay, I have confidence. I'm not worried about the playoffs, but don't worry about it. I mean, as a fan, if it's stressing you out or it's like, just kind of get in that mindset where they have to do one game at a time. Okay, they got to play all those games. Okay, so they got to play all those games. They got to play all 82. So just be a little more short focused. Like, okay, they're playing the Blue Jackets. Like, just like get the, because if you're trying to reach right now as a fan and, right, you're frustrating yourselves and it's okay to get emotional about some stuff, but when there's ways to, not get so, extra crispy, down or frustrated or pissy. Okay, these things help. I've been a fan for a really long time, so I'm just saying, like as a fan, I understand, but this is kind of like what I do is just like I'm not worried about the playoffs right now. This is regular season ice hockey. Okay, like they have to play every single game, so it's just best to have sort of a short view, sort of, yeah, like that. Because, I mean, as fans, we can yell and we can be armchair coaches and GMs and stuff, but there's really nothing that we actually can do in a large sense other than continue to support the team and try and stay positive. Okay? Start remembering some of the good things and start remembering, like, yeah, I mean, it's still Lowry. It's still Shifes. It's still, what I'm saying, Morrissey. And some of the newer ones are learning quickly. So that's that. But um, I'm about ready to jump off of here. But this is what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, the Shine Down song is, the word's beautiful. Like it's a rock song, but it's like beautiful melody. Yeah, it's a beautiful song. So check it out. Shine Down, Searchlight. Okay, everybody. Uh, this is what I'm getting at with some of the stuff I'm getting on my direct messages. Okay. Jeez, Christmas. Hold on. Hello. All right, it's one of those spam scam. That's just stupid, right? I don't know. I'd be fine without internet or cell phone, telephones. That'd be great. Yeah, I'd be all good. I don't know about some of the rest of you. I'd be fine though. Yeah, I'd be okay without electricity even. Right? I mean, yeah, some of you like, jeez, Christmas, you use electricity and the fucking world is goddamn ended. Toughen up a little, man. What the hell? Jeez, Christmas. Like, don't you guys see? Well, it's true. So, yeah, like I'm saying with my X account, this is why. Some X account, PAUUIQOOT, followed me. So I followed back. And I got this, and the very first, like, 2 seconds after I followed, I got this, standard bot thing that says, I'm not active here a lot. Here's my Telegram. Like, hook up with me there. I'm like, who the fuck are you? I don't know, because, I look at this. Okay, I got 7 minutes. I look, and the information that's on the account is that. And it's the back of someone's head. And then, oh, it's Lucy taking like sexy shots at me. Like, great. I rarely chat here, but you can add me as a friend in the Telegram. We can chat there. Here's my Telegram. Well, I'm just like, okay, like it says Emma, but it also might be Lucy. It's also Pauuiquoot. Well, okay, great. Maybe I don't need any more friends. Maybe I don't like to use Telegram. Like, just automatically, we can be friends. Go to Telegram, and it sends me a picture. And I'm like, I'm not into chicks. So I'm not going to be in a big hurry for that. Right. But then I get like, yeah, like 3, 4 in a row. Right. And then it's like, is your phone broken or is Twitter malfunctioning? Why aren't you receiving messages? Why haven't you added me on Telegram when I asked you to? Who the fuck are you? Now, if these are bots, I'd say we have a solid foundation for yet another lawsuit. Yeah, I don't have a choice over here when it comes to Upper Bay Counseling and Support Services. Yeah, definitely now, absolutely 100% can tell you, yep, malpractice. And didn't you guys think it was just a little too easy to hack my shit? Oh, and by the way, yeah, somebody pretended to be me. Yeah, at least one. And I'm like, you're not built like me, man. You're in a world of fucking hurt, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. Oh, well, I think it's great. Like, my brothers, some of them are really pissing. I'm like, you gotta wrangle that. You can't, like, let that get out of control. Because, yeah, they know what's been done to me. Oh, motherfuckers. And something ancient that is not human is up and moving, and, you know, yeah, that's not. No. I'm like, oh, you dumbasses. Like, yeah. And by the way, any of you who looked at me like she's like young and dumb and every other, and like, oh, the female is the weakest link, and I'm like, yeah, I was counting on that. So this is the kind of bullshit. So I have to unfollow this individual, and like you asked me to. I'm like, who the fuck are you? Oh, I don't want to add you to my Telegram. I don't like using Telegram. Like, is this fucking AI? Is this bots? Is this a bunch of stupid people who think for some reason, they rate above, everybody else? Identify yourselves. Like, this is not identifying yourself. And if you're trying to like talk to me because you send me a sexy girl picture, I'm like, okay, great. I'm not interested. I got enough friends. Like, yeah, man, I'm getting like harassed and bullied and lied to and physically. Yeah, now the physical attacks are starting to come. Like, ah, geez, Christmas. I'm like, Seth, fuck him. I gotta go because the Jets checking is happening. But this is what I mean by these accounts. Like, who the hell are you? I'm allowed to ask to find out what your who are you? What's your identity? I mean, are you trying to hide it from me? Are you trying to be like mysterious? Yeah, well, you fucking pissed off a fucking raging ancient fucking monster that never leaves anyone left alive. There are some motherfuckers in the worst kind of fucking way, and nobody is gonna come to fucking help you. Like I said, in the National Hockey League, great. I mean, there's some franchises like, come the fuck on. But I'm telling everybody, don't help the franchise in Washington, D.C. If you want to go down with that pile of garbage, amen. But I honestly, in just good hockey love kind of way, because I give a shit and I'm trying to tell you, well, don't. You want to get mixed up with that. They had their warnings. Okay? So, yeah. Oh, yeah, witchcraft doesn't work on me. But some of you who tried to attack me with witchcraft, I gotta be honest with you. Well, that's how he's finding you. So maybe you want to stop doing that. Sometimes it's stored in your hair, but you do want to cut it off every so often because you're just hanging with all that old shit and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I'm putting on my, what do you call it? I'm loading up the chat right now. I can actually chat and on this and do the same time. So I'm on the Winnipeg Jets doing and hit the like button. And happy game day. So yeah, the Great Cup. I'm learning about that stuff. Like, yes. I really do want to watch it. But this is why I don't answer my DM. Oh, by the way, Mephistopheles is a fictional character in the book. Call us it's Movember. If you don't know what Movember is, just ask around. Okay, yeah, we're doing an interview for the whole month. November. Anyway, yeah, that's so. Um, yeah. All right, go listen to Shine Down. If you guys make sure nobody attacks me, is what I'm trying to say. The whole family's booties about it. All right. Well, anyway, yes. Take care.